meeting to order, and we'll move down to Section 2, approval of the agenda. 2.1, changes to agenda and approval of agenda, and we did have one change, and that would have been under Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations, out-of-field report for the 2021 through 2022 school year, presented by Karen Peak, Program Director, Professional Services. And with that change, I need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 5-0. So now we'll move down to recognitions. Item 3.1, recognition of Captain Gary Venuti on the occasion of his retirement, presented by our superintendent, Mr. Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, School Board. So it's an honor to have this recognition this evening. We have Captain Gary Venuti and his lovely wife, Cameron Venuti, here. And I just want to say, before we do the presentation, I can think back to 1998. It was both of our first years. And the difference that Gary Venuti was making back all the way at that time is something that I think we can all be proud of. And I can remember, whether it was at Ruckle, whether it was at Niceville, whether it was across the district in the schools where he was always making a difference. This is an Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office employee that became an Okaloosa County School District employee, and a true family of everyone here and the teachers, the students, the employees. And what you've done over those years is something that we cannot thank you for enough. The phone calls that you take on Monday through Friday, that's one thing, but the phone calls that you take Sunday, Saturday, or at midnight is something that we cannot be more grateful for. The difference that Gary Venuti made here in Okaloosa County is one thing, but his mark went all the way across the state of Florida, across this nation. The SRO program is one that is revered all the way throughout the state of Florida, and it goes all the way throughout this nation again. And that's something that we cannot be more proud of. So for all that you've done over 20 plus years with the Sheriff's Department, for the school district, we're thankful and we're grateful for all that you've done. And before we do the presentation, some of you may have some words as well.
Okay. Well, we'll start with Ms. Gardner, if you have anything.
Well, you just caught me off guard right there, but everything you said, I mean, I can just second that. We didn't work personally, but I was always felt very safe and secure when I saw your face. And I did not even recognize you out there without your green uniform on, to be honest with you. I mean, that's why you kind of caught me off guard there for a second. But just thank you for everything, your commitment for Okaloosa County, to the students, and we wish you the best. And I am sure that if you would like a position back, we can make that happen. We will, but thank you.
Yeah. Ms. Vanche?
Well, I do have something to say about Captain Venuti. We have a lot in common. We're both Choctaw graduates, and also we both worked at that school for many years together, and I got to see firsthand the changes he made in not only students' lives, but also the teachers there. He was a true member of our faculty, so to speak, and our staff, and just fit right in and did so many things to help us. I was also very privileged to get to teach his son, Sam, who was probably one of the best sports writers I'd ever had, and he was very, very good. So I've known Gary a long time, but Gary, I was just telling you before the meeting that now it's your time, but know that you have left a legacy that I would say won't be matched, but certainly will endure for a long, long time, and that's quite something to say when you've influenced that many lives. So congratulations to you and to your wife, so that now you can have some time, although you told me you're not letting her retire quite yet. So you get some own time, but thank you for not only your professionalism, but for your friendship personally from me. I'm proud of you.
All right. Dr. Kelly?
Well, I'll just say, truly, you have made a difference in many aspects of the school system. And I think that I was a principal prior to the SRO program, and certainly after. And you've heard me say a number of times from this dais and many other podiums that I wouldn't want to be a school principal without the presence of an SRO there on campus. And when I look at you and your beautiful wife, I see a pair who has made a difference here and all the different roles you both have played. You have certainly been partners in working with us in a number of roles here. And my gratitude extends to you, along with happy retirement, best wishes. Go and enjoy. You've earned it. Thank you.
And Dr. White.
Thank you, Chairman Bryant. Well, I remember when Captain Venuti and I worked together, but way back in those days, he was Deputy Venuti. And I'll just say this, that really when I think about Gary, that there's two things that stand out in my mind. The first thing is dependable. If I ever needed anything at the school, any help with any matter, that was something that Captain Venuti took care of. And then the second thing I would say is that dedication. Highly dedicated to the school, to the students, and to our community. And I just appreciate you so much. And I know we talked about this day a long time ago, the day that you retired, but congratulations, Deputy, and well-deserved and well-earned. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. And I'll just finish up by saying, in my 5 years on the school board, it has been an honor to work with Deputy Venuti and to just be able to go across the state and talk to other school boards and just to brag about our school resource officer program, because a lot of districts in our state aren't afforded the school resource officer program like we have. And so it is always, it's always a good feeling when I can talk about how great our program is. And all of it, you know, is due to the training and the dedication of all of our SROs that are in the school. But they have to have a leader, and that was Lieutenant Venuti. And I agree with all of the board members' comments about how he was professional, just always there when you need him. I know if I ever needed to call him, he was there. So we truly appreciate all that you've done to make our schools safe. But like all the other board members said, enjoy your retirement and you know, feel good about what you've accomplished in our county. So we thank you.
This, we'll take a couple pictures, and then you'll address the board. And this is in grateful recognition of the dedication, achievement, and leadership of Captain Gary Venuti, admired and respected for 24 years of distinguished service to Okaloosa schools, presented with respect and highest esteem by myself and the Okaloosa County School Board, and congratulations.
All right.
Chairman, board, superintendent, and distinguished guests. I say that because being married to a teacher taught me a lot about what exactly teachers and principals and administrators do, and it was truly, truly, truly my honor to serve with you, for you, and I can say that I learned so much from so many sitting at this table also. And you took a young deputy and you taught him some skills that he'll use for the rest of his life. So thank you very much. I was very honored to serve, and I always will be.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we will move down to section 4, and this is the visitors part of our meeting. And 4.1, the Honorable Senator Don Gates, Chair of the Triumph Gulf Coast Incorporated, presentation of Artificial Intelligence Machine Learning Institute Grants Award. Mr. Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Gates. We'd be honored if you'd come forward.
Thank you.
I appreciate the chance to be here, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Superintendent, members of the board, especially since tomorrow's the first day of school, and I have good and reassuring news for the Okaloosa County School Board on behalf of the Board of Directors of Triumph Gulf Coast. which you may know is a $1.5 billion endowment created out of funds that came to the state of Florida through a federal court settlement consequent to the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. These are private funds, they're not public funds. And so as they're awarded tonight, be aware that there were many competitors for these dollars. We have $1.5 billion to invest, which seems like a lot of money, except that on the day we announced that we were open for business, we got $1.8 billion in requests. And we're trying to figure out a way to make that work. But it's a pleasure to be here, especially because this constitutes a first for Okaloosa Schools, and it's not the only first. As you know well, a number of years ago, Okaloosa Schools became the first school district in Florida to establish district-wide career technical education linked to industry standards. And as of today, the Commissioner of Education told me that there are 60 counties in Florida that are trying to replicate what Okaloosa County pioneered, and there are hundreds and hundreds of schools across the United States who look to you as the model for career technical education. And then, a couple of years after that happened, Choctawhatchee High School, Ms. Ivanchek, became the first high school in America to establish a course in drone technology at a time when most people didn't know what it was. And probably lots of people don't today. But the fact is that now even in coastal Northwest Florida, 6 of the 8 counties that are served by Triumph Gulf Coast now have school curriculums and school institutes in drone technology, including 3 colleges. And we see thousands of jobs available in North Florida now in the whole area of drone technology, but it's something that you did first. And then Okaloosa Schools became one of the first school districts in Florida to establish a STEM middle school. And now there are dozens and dozens of STEM middle schools in Florida, but you helped lead the way and got the first state grant for STEM education at a middle school level of any school district in Florida. And now today, you will receive a $2,840,000 grant from Triumph to establish the first Artificial Intelligence Learning Institute in an American high school and school district. At a time when artificial intelligence is cutting edge for people who are on the cutting edge of those things, but to many of us who are unwashed, we just think of a vacuum cleaner that talks back to us or something. But the fact is that there are thousands of jobs as well being developed in this area in the defense-related industries and industries spawned off from it. And it is a special pleasure for me to see that Okaloosa County is once again pioneering an area in education which leads directly to relevant careers in real jobs in the real economy. My understanding is that this $2.8 million grant, $2,840,000, is the largest private grant ever received by Okaloosa Schools. And I hope it won't be the last. Triumph Gulf Coast has $1.5 billion to invest in transforming Northwest Florida's coastal economy. We have awarded about $300 million. We have about $1.2 billion left to award. And it would make me very happy, and I'm sure make our Triumph Gulf Coast board very happy, if Okaloosa Schools were the recipient of more than just this award and more than the other award that you received for fast start training following the hurricanes. So I get to use this pen. And this means that somebody can start collecting this money.
Mr. Chambers, did y'all want to take a picture?
Do you mind taking a picture?
A picture?
All right.
long as you don't make me do any work or anything like that.
You can just sign checks
Well,
for
we-
us.
If you don't mind, this one, we're going to step back here and take it with the entire school board.
This will not help any of you, but it will help me.
You want us to stand?
That's okay, you're good. Stay.
All right, one more, Miss Vancheck, step to your right just a little bit so I can see you. There you go. I can see everybody's face right there. Thank you. Got it.
Let me do one from that angle too, because I couldn't see Dr. Bell. There we go. Now I see. See what's happening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
I am very pleased to know that none of you had the bad taste to point out that since I last appeared before the Okaloosa County School Board, I dyed my hair white. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Have a good year.
Thank you.
And congratulations on once again being a pioneer in education in
Thank
Florida
you.
and in this country.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Mr. Gates.
Thank you for your support.
All right, school board members, if you would, please go to item 17.1. We are at public hearing, and Mr. McInnes, I believe we are now going to vote on this particular
Yes, sir.
item after we receive public comment, if we have any. So at this time, 17.1 is public hearing on the school district's five-year capital outlay plan. And is there anybody from the public here wishing to address item 17.1? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve item 17.1.
I'll move it.
Ms. Garner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
And second by Ms. Vancheck. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 5-0. So now we'll move back up to item 6. And this is, well, item 5, we had no administrative personnel appointments, but we are now at item 6, public comment, and this is 6.1, members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. And Mr. McInnes, I'll let you begin, sir.
Yes, sir. The board's protocol for public presentations is that speakers will be allowed 4 minutes to make their presentation. We would ask that remarks and statements be addressed directly to the chairman when possible, and all questions should be directed to the chairman, as this is a meeting of the school board. Items pertaining to personnel matters under the responsibility of the superintendent are routinely not heard before the board, but are handled by the superintendent. And we would ask that all visitors and speakers at the public meeting act in a respectful manner.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McInnes. And we also do have now a timer, which is right up here. And Mr. McInnes is,
I'm going to use a different timer.
okay. Oh, so Mr. McInnes has got a different timer there. Excuse me, Mr. Mitchell?
We got it both. We're good.
Okay, so
We're
we
good.
will
It's
use,
gonna work.
we'll use this one.
We're testing tonight, make sure everything's good to go.
We want to be sure it's
Okay.
working correctly.
All right, so we have received some blue cards, so we're going to start with Miss Deidre Wilson. If Miss Wilson would please come to the podium and please state your name and address for the record. And once you are up here and get started, you'll have your 4 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Deidre Wilson, and I live in Crestview, address 356 River Chase Boulevard. And first, respect and honor to all you that have been elected to serve this county. And I appreciate the time to stand here to talk. I'm trying to do this without getting emotional. I'm here tonight to inform you that I'm wearing my mask because I feel like I want to protect you since some people don't want to protect themselves, but I'm protecting others. My granddaughter, 13 years old, she has COVID, and she got it in a school function. She got it at a band camp. She's spending 7 hours or more for the last week, over a week, almost 2 weeks at band camp, the only place she's had time to go. And now this little child is locked up in her bedroom, won't come out, afraid that she's gonna make me and her grandfather sick. She's my child because I adopted her. She's my biological granddaughter. And she is so afraid of shots and needles. Her 7th grade shot, she's in the 9th grade. Tomorrow's supposed to be her first day in high school. She'll spend it in her bedroom. She's so afraid of shots that when she got a 7th grade shot, I thought the police was gonna be waiting for me and the nurse when we came out the room at the health department. The way she screamed and cut up in there like we were abusing her. But when she had the feeling that she may have COVID, it was last Wednesday. She had started symptoms last Monday. And last Wednesday we were taking pictures when we got a call saying one of the nurses, my husband's nurses said, COVID is going rampant through band camp. And so she started begging me, please take her to get tested. And can she please get a shot? That worried me because I know this child is petrified of needles. And she was so, and she still is, afraid she's gonna get me and her grandfather sick. So she locked up in her room right now. She won't come out, won't talk. I have to make sure that she knows it's okay when I'm not in that part of the house to come get something to eat and then go back in her room. This virus is serious. It's spreading among the schools. And I know I'm probably talking on deaf ears or some hearts of stone. I feel that. I probably am. But school is opening tomorrow. No one has called. No one from the health department of the school has called. I had to keep calling them. No one is informing the parents. I did inform a couple of other parents that children were in direct contact with my child. No one is informing nobody. It's a disconnect of communication. These children are going into an area tomorrow, and I know it's there because it's in my house now. And I don't know, for the people that are powers to be, if you could please do something to help our children. Because no matter how much politically we want it to not be so, it's so. And I'm not talking about opinion. I'm talking about what's happening, true facts. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next blue card will be Ann McCann. If Ann McCann is in the room, please make your way forward. State your name and address for the record, and you'll have 4 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Ann McCann. I live in Niceville, Florida. I have 2 young kids in the Okaloosa County school system. I'm very concerned for my kids' health and really the health of all of our students and faculty in the Okaloosa County school system, given the incredibly minimal COVID protections that are in place for this school year. Mr. Chambers, your campaign platform when you ran for superintendent was safer, stronger schools. And you've done a good job of meeting that platform so far. The evidence of that is apparent in the changes made to entry points to schools across the county. But there's one more very simple thing that you can do to help keep our schools safer and stronger this year, and that is to implement a mask mandate. Last year, when you debated a mask requirement, one argument was made that masks really weren't necessary if our case positivity rate was below 10%. Well, in the most recent report published by the Florida Department of Health, Our case positivity rate in Okaloosa County last week was an astonishing 30.4%. Our case trend over the last few weeks is nearly a vertical line. We are clearly seeing a massive spike in cases locally, and an easy way for us to help mitigate this spread is with masks, especially in our elementary school population where students are not yet eligible for the vaccine. While I understand the desire to go back to normal, we can't just ignore the fact that we're living through a global pandemic. There won't be anything normal about this school year if large numbers of our student and faculty population are regularly out of school sick with COVID. Having a mask requirement helps ensure the school year can continue normally by reducing COVID transmissions and allowing as many students and faculty as possible to remain healthy at person in school. Additionally, mask requirements in K-12 schools are consistent with the recommendations made by the Centers for Disease Control and American Academy of Pediatrics for this school year. One CDC study showed COVID incidence was 37% lower in schools that required teachers and staff members to wear masks. Let's listen to our health experts. Let's keep our students and schools safe and strong, and let's implement a mask requirement. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I would just remind the public, please, I understand you want to applause, but this is a meeting and we do have protocol, so please keep your applause. All right, so now we'll move down to our next speaker, and that's Leslie Fuller. Is Miss Leslie Fuller? Good evening, ma'am. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 4 minutes.
My name is Leslie Fuller. My address is 310 Sable Palm Drive. I know you've received a lot of emails from me, both last year and this year. And I just want to say thank you for your story. I wrote a little something. I'm going to read it, but I just want to tell you a little bit about our story. This year has been really, really hard. I know it's been hard for you. It's been hard for us. It's been hard collectively. I have 6 children. I'm a mother of 6 children. I have 1 at Ruckle, 1 at STEM, 3 at PLU, and 1 that will be starting preschool. So we made the difficult decision to keep our kids home last year. One of our oldest was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and our 9-year-old has DeGeorge syndrome that causes immune issues and other issues as well. But they also have 4 siblings. So we struggled, you know, but we made it work. We stayed with our school. We love our school. We love PLU. We love Okaloosa County School District. I'm a graduate of Niceville High School myself. You know, born and raised. Tyler's is too. My husband is as well. And you know, we love our schools. So don't get me wrong. We love them. So that's why I hesitated to pull them out. Our plan right now, just because we know they need in-person. We know they need socialization. We know they need to get back out there. Our plan is to start school tomorrow. So my husband's home. We're ready. We got our supplies. We're ready. Our children will be wearing masks. We've set up a plan for our medically fragile children. PLU was wonderful. STEM was wonderful. Those principals are doing everything they can to keep our children safe. But I think that they need your help. They need your help. They need policy, they need mask mandates. There was a handful of children or parents like me, and I felt for them because we know this is what our children need, and we know it's not a good idea. We know it's not safe. And I know that there's a risk of COVID. Like this whole year, if it's taught us anything, it's taught us we can't stay home all day, every day, which is basically what we did. We stayed home all day, every day. Like that, we can't do that. We have to get out, but we need help to make it safe. We need your help to make it safe for them. I know it's not perfect. I know masks are not perfect. Quarantines are not perfect. But I especially the quarantine policy. If I imagine a child knowing they were a close contact coming into the room with my children, it just, it's one thing if you don't know, and I'm not naive. I watch the numbers. I know it's a risk. I know they need it. You know, I would be in favor of a mask mandate, even if it was just temporarily. We were able to attend a virtual symposium. My daughter goes to Ohio, to Nationwide Children's Hospital, and I was looking at the timer. I don't know how it'll probably just turn me off. Anyway, at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Ohio. So her doctors put on an educational symposium for back to school, and you know, they were really pushing that that's the best way we can protect our kids, you know, and mine are going to wear a mask. He said that it would protect them some. It would be better if more would. You know, he also said they'd had a statistic that every 12 seconds, a child loses a caregiver to COVID. So that's throughout our world. Every 12 seconds, a child loses a caregiver to COVID. And that was Nationwide Children's Hospital. They are the best of the best. This was an immune specialist. It's been 4 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we do appreciate you.
I didn't read what I...
That's fine.
But I've emailed you
Yes,
my
ma'am.
thoughts.
Yes,
so.
ma'am. And we appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll move down to our next blue card, and this would be John Plant. If Mr. Plant is here, and he is, if you would please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 4 minutes, sir.
Hello, my name is John Plant. I live at 1007 Pine Lake Drive in Niceville. I'm here tonight as a concerned citizen. I will say that I did run for office last year for HD4 in Southern Okaloosa County, but I think the crisis of COVID-19 transcends politics, right? It is a national emergency. It's a pandemic. It's pervading communities all across Florida. Children's hospitals overflowing. And I actually didn't plan to be here tonight at all. If you asked me where I was going to be Friday night, I would say I'd be getting ready to send my children to school. But the news of the past few weeks has been more than alarming in terms of what's happening across Florida. Children's hospitals across Florida are filling up. The COVID rate has been as high as 30%. It went up from 20% last week. It's my understanding our cases have gone up by about 1,000 in the past month. Around this time last year, I believe the amount of COVID in the area was under 10,000 cases. So that means if we compare it to this point in time last year, it's gone up more than 1/10 of what it was last year. And I'll be honest, I'm here to advocate for mask mandate. I know it's not a popular topic, and I want to appreciate everybody who's come out here to speak on that topic tonight. And I think that as a community, this is a topic that we need to pay closer attention to. For some reason, last year, Okaloosa County was blessed by not having as bad of a penetration of COVID-19 in our area that other communities have faced. And I'm quite thankful for that. But Delta seems to have a different character. It seems to affect children differently. And the expectation is that there could be long-term side effects for our children. I know 2 people, adults, who have had long COVID, and it sounds like a miserable existence. One's on a respirator, one uses medication to breathe. I have a friend who had 2 cousins die from COVID-19, and this is in Northwest Florida. And I hope that as a community, we can all come together and face this threat together. I would encourage people to mask up. I would encourage people to get vaccinated. I was hoping maybe the Okaloosa County School Board could give some kind of incentive for teachers to get vaccinated. Free time, paid time off that doesn't take away from sick time or vacation time to go get vaccinated and weather the effects, whatever they may be, of being vaccinated. And I know it's not an easy choice for people to take. I know there is some skepticism about vaccination. I'm vaccinated. I have both Pfizer shots in my system. And I have skin in the game. I have 2 children at Plu. I have a child at Lewis, and one starting Ruckle this year. And while I can't say for sure what will happen in the next coming months, I would rather be gravely mistaken about how serious this is than be mistaken as to how serious it wasn't. Because it's all about choices. It is all about individuality. But we have a choice as a community to step up and beat this thing. The American people do not shy away from hard things. We do the difficult things. We push forward. And I know as an Okaloosa citizen, that we have that in our character. That is part of our fiber. We are doers, and that is how we are as a people. We're resilient in the face of adversity, and we can beat COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. And our next blue card is Taylor Kennedy. Ms. Kennedy, if you would, please approach the podium. And hello. Good. And you'll have 4 minutes, ma'am.
All right, well, I didn't prepare anything, but I came because I saw some of my friends here were going to organize and come talk to you. I personally am kind of defeated talking to elected officials about public safety. I've kind of been fighting for it for, a year and a half since we had 16 deaths with my gas station attendant who passed away. She was 26 last July. So I'm just hoping my daughter's starting kindergarten now, and I kept her home, and she desperately needs that contact and that interaction. She can wear a mask for 12 hours straight. She does not care. It is not a problem for her. And she asked me, Mommy, why don't other people want to wear a mask and take care of me too? And I try and tell her, like, that's not what it is, honey. It's okay. We're far enough away. And because I don't want that. I don't want our kids to have those conflicts that we are having as an adult. And I don't want us to have them as an adult either, because I don't think it's a political conversation. I think it's a matter of public health. So I was going to share a story because I heard her and it was just so heartfelt. But I just want you guys to know how hard it is to bury a child. I know. This is my daughter, Kennedy. These are her footprints. She was an infant. She was stillborn when I had her. I know what it's like to go to a funeral home and pick out a casket and pick out arrangements. And I don't want any single parent to ever experience that. So my push for all of these safety measures comes from no political stance. It comes from grief, and it comes from trying to protect the person next to me, to say, I know what that's like, and if I can make sure you never, ever feel that, I'm going to fight for it. And that's why I'm here for them, because I know their children are immunocompromised. Mine isn't, and I think she'd probably be okay, but I don't want any of their children to get sick, or anybody else, or God forbid my teacher, and I have to explain to my 5-year-old why her teacher is not at school. That's traumatic for a child, especially with all the things that they're hearing and seeing today. So I want to give them a positive learning environment where we can show teamwork and working together, and I just think it's really important for us to rise above the politics of the conversation and find the humanity in what it is. Whether we believe in it or don't believe in it, I think we believe in each other enough to take care of each other. And so if there's anything we can do to promote that safety or to ensure that safety, I think you're going to see a lot more kids re-enrolling, and I think you're going to have a lot better school year, because as they're saying in the American Academy of Pediatrics, it's as contagious as the chicken pox right now. When you got a bunch of 5-year-olds running around, they're going to bring it home, whether they're symptomatic or not. And so if you guys can really consider even 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of school are going to be tough, and just test it out. See if we can get these transmission rates in Okaloosa down, so we're not driving, the rates with these kids. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our final blue card is Carrie Ann Pope. Ms. Pope, if you would, please approach the podium. And again, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 4 minutes.
My name is Carrie Ann Pope. I live in Niceville, Florida. I did not prepare anything. I just wanted to say to be here as a voice for my children. I have 2 young children, a 6-year-old and a 4.5-year-old. My husband and I recently moved here from Maryland, Pax River Navy Base. I'm a teleworker, so I very much understand what it is like to be home with your children, trying to teach them and trying to save your sanity. I, of course, have concerns about the COVID protocols currently placed in schools. I recently saw on Facebook that you guys are, or someone has come out with some new COVID protocols. There should be an update today. I very much look forward to seeing what that is. My children will be wearing masks in schools. The schools they were at in Maryland did shut down. That is certainly not ideal. They reopened with mask wearing to great success. My concerns are, that I would like to be heard, are what are the COVID protocols for this new school year? What happens as far as contact tracing? Is there going to be robocalls going out? How do I know if maybe my child was exposed to a child that was symptomatic for COVID? As a parent, I would like that information so I can make the best informed decisions for my children. So I can say, okay, well, we're not going to go see your grandparents this week because you may have been exposed. That is very important to me as a parent, and I feel like that information is something that we should be given, that we should be provided. You know, I thank all of the teachers. They're amazing. My daughter had a virtual teacher last year who, I don't know how they learned the technology so quickly, but she was just fantastic and really tried to engage with kindergartners online. Again, not ideal, but they did a wonderful job. So those are my concerns. I do have a son that has extra medical needs. If his sister is exposed to school, there is a protocol that his pulmonologist has laid out that we need to follow. So anyway, I appreciate your time. I wanted to come and share my voice as a newcomer to Niceville. It is the most beautiful place we've ever lived. And I really would love to be able to breathe a little freer, knowing that some things are being done to help with what's going on right now. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So there is no more blue cards, and now we will move down the items here. Item 7 is committee and staff reports, and that was workshop only. Item 8 is consent agenda. 8.1 is the approval of the consent agenda, and I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion, Chairman.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Evanchek. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So now we'll move down to Section 9, and this is the Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations. Items 9.1 and 9.2 are information only. 9.3, employment separations. I need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Garner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 9.4, personnel recommendations. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Evanchek. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 9.5, employee transfers. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Gardner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
A second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 9.6, employee termination. I need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. And any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 5-0. 9.7, out-of-field report for the 2021-2022 school year. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Evanchek makes the motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
A second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Section 10 was discussion agenda. There was no items moved. And now we are to Section 11, construction program owners representatives business. And Dr. Kelly, I will turn it over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairman. We did have our August meeting this morning, and we had quite a bit to discuss there, and I'm happy to give you that update. Here you are.
Thank you.
So welcome. All right, and you remember how this goes. The task orders are listed in order, and they drop off when those projects move out of warranty. So task order number 1 has moved off the list because it is out of warranty with no issues. Task order number 2 was in 3 phases, and we are now at phase 2. That phase 2, if you look down towards the bottom of that list, involved 11 schools in that phase, and that focused on the lobbies and getting those lobbies open and ready for school to start tomorrow for our students. There's still minor issues with the fencing, and those are primarily waiting on parts to arrive. As we said before, the parts business is kind of slow right now. And phase 3 involves 12 schools, and we have Blue Water, Walker next, followed by Floresa and Pryor's fencing, which should take place in October. And then if you look at task order 4, that's Baker's School kitchen renovation, and they met last week with Mr. Anderson, and they are looking at what is operationally appropriate for kitchens that can be replicated throughout the school district. So very good there. Task order 5 is the Joe Etheridge Stadium at Choctaw, and that has been completed in the warranty period with no issues. The final report has been issued, as we stated last time, and that was all good with no issues. Task order 6 was Pryor Middle School's kitchen renovation, and they are primarily looking at the hood and serving line, and we'll be moving towards a GMP on that shortly. Task order 7, Longwood School Corridor construction, was added into task order 2. You may remember we combined those, which saved us some time and some materials. Task order 8, Kenwood Elementary's kitchen and dining room roof replacement, and that has been completed in the warranty period, and we've had no known issues there. Task order 9, repairs to Jack Foster Stadium at Crestview. And I just want to report that they are able to use that stadium for football season with no impact to the football at all. There is still just a short section of seating on the visitor side with some fencing there, and that is all that remains there. So all in good shape there. Task order 10, that was, if you remember, the emergency roof remediation at Lowry Place from the hurricane damage. That has been completed, all good there. We're still in the warranty period. Task order 11 is the district-wide sales tax roofing projects, and weather has been a slight issue there, but happy to report that last week Edge was done and completed over the weekend. Pryor's gym roof is effectively done on the tall part. There is a shorter part of that roof that is in progress. And Mary Esther, which was a huge job, is ahead of schedule, and they will move to Crestview as soon as Pryor is completed. And task order 12 was the district-wide sales tax construction projects. Those are the multipurpose rooms and the cafetoriums. The site plans are now complete, and the next phase of that project will be the individual meetings with the principals, and that will be happening as soon as we get school underway. That's the most important project right now, as we all know, is to get school started tomorrow. Task order 13, that is the time and materials for the master plan for consolidation of district services here at the Central Complex. That process of interviewing the future inhabitants of this building has been begun, and I think only 2 of those interviews remain as of late today. And the main task now is to look at appropriate phases while keeping us functional as needed to conduct our business. And then task order 14 is Fort Walton Beach High School's boys field house roof, and as we said last time, that has turned into an HVAC as well as a roofing project. Trane has provided us a quote, and we'll be looking at a total budget and be moving towards bringing a GMP shortly. And task order 15 involves 3 schools of gym floor replacement, and those schools are Davidson, Crestview High, and Lewis. And that was on tonight's agenda. And hopefully that project will be completed within the next 12 months. So that completes my task order item update, but a couple of additional topics, as you'll see there. The next Citizens Oversight Committee of the Sales Tax Project meets August 28th at 4 o'clock here in this building. The website, the last note I'll give you is that the website is up and running with those projects listed by schools so that our audiences can go and look at those. And I would just like to say an additional thank you to Michelle Ankers again, who continues to be one of our greatest advocates and one of our greatest champions of transparency for these projects. And I just appreciate her personally and professionally. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
What is that date again? The
August
sales-
28th.
No, ma'am,
Is that
that's,
right?
that's a Saturday.
Mr. Horton, I think that's what we said. The next, 31st,
31st,
okay, move to the 31st,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right.
Just going by what we said this morning in our meeting, I didn't
Right.
catch that, but thank you, Ms. Evancheck.
Yes.
So that would be the 31st for the next Citizens Oversight Committee meeting.
Thank you.
And thank you,
That's it.
Dr. Kelly.
Of course.
And speaking of, item 11.2 is we're going to be voting on TMP Program Number 6, Task Order Number 15, Pre-GMP for Gymnasium Floor Replacement at Crestview High School, Davidson Middle School, and Lewis School. So with that being said, I need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Evancheck. Any other discussion with it? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the motion carries 5-0. So now we are to Section 12, Information Technology Seat Management Contract, 12.1, CACI Task Order Number 2-193, Salto Gate at North Transportation. I need a motion to approve this, please.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Garner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries 5-0. Item 12.2, Task Order Number 2-185 for Eglin Elementary School for new camera system. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Gardner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Evancheck. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries 5-0. So now we're to Section 13, Attorney's Business. And Mr. McInnes, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
No report tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, sir. And now we're down to Section 14, Superintendent's Business. 14.1 is out-of-state student trip request. And Mr. Chambers, we'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, School Board. So as you know, on Thursday, we gave a wealth of information, but I would like to add tonight. So first of all, myself, just like many of you during this pre-planning week, we've gone around to the schools. I do want to say just extremely proud of the work that our principals have done, our assistant principals, our teachers and staff. As you know, this has been a short summer, and we've talked about this 2 weeks, what a difference 2 weeks makes in planning and getting everything ready for the start of school. So just extremely proud of that. Also, as we've gone around, you've seen as well as I have, teachers, the excitement to be back in the building. And what I mean by that is not just to be back, it's about having kids back. And that was the neat thing, talking with teachers, talking with principals, is their excitement to have kids in the building. And one of the things that we've talked about as well and understand during this pandemic is not only do we need to be very mindful of safety, which we absolutely want to be, need to be, but we also have to be very mindful of mental health, and we also have to be very mindful of academic acceleration as well. So it felt good to see our teachers rejuvenated even during a difficult summer. Secondly, I know that we talked about enrollment. We talked about on Thursday how we were a few hundred or a couple hundred below our projections of where we were this time last year. And I think you've seen as Mr. Horton sent out those enrollment numbers, we've actually from Thursday to today actually gone above. So we'll continue to keep an eye on those numbers, especially through the first 10 days of school, and then of course progressing into October. But just appreciate the work that Mr. Horton's done keeping up with those numbers. And then, as you know, this week we will be submitting our ESSER proposal, and that is that's a big grant, so to speak. And it's important for our school district, not only our school district, all the school districts, but for us, it's an important proposal to the state. So we look forward to not only submitting, but also receiving the award notification that our plan is approved. So just wanted to share that information with you. And I'm sure we'll see you this week out at schools.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. And now we'll move to section 15, and this is board members' announcements and requests for information. And item 15.1 is a school board member travel request, and we need a motion to approve that, please.
I move it.
Ms. Savancheck makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
A second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 5-0. So now we'll move to board members' announcements and requests for information. And tonight I will start with Ms. Gardner.
Thank you. I just would like to thank the individuals that were here tonight and talking about the mask mandate. That was very touching. I appreciate that they were here on behalf of their child and their children and the other children. In going back and reading through some different documents yesterday, I came across a statement, Mr. Chambers, that you made back on almost this time last year, July 28th. And it was that we will get through this together, and together we will continue making a difference in the lives of our students. Last year, we didn't have any idea what the road was going to be, but we made it. We did well. I know that we will make it, and we will do even better this year. Again, the main word is that we have to work together on this. I know that you and your staff are working very closely on these numbers. They concern me also, just as they do, I'm sure, all of you. And again, you and your staff are looking at those very closely. And this may not be politically correct, but I'm just going to say that we will put politics aside, and if adjustments need to be made for the mask mandate, or if adjustments need to be made toward our mask policy, who knows, maybe these storms coming through will blow it all away and we will not even have to wear masks. Wouldn't that be nice? But this is something that Mr. Chambers, his committee, all of us are looking at, and it is ongoing. And I know that we're going to do what's right for our children, and we're going to do it together, and we all do need to work together on this. So, but thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner. Ms. Savancheck.
Yes. Well, I'm concerned that with our public tonight, that those may be watching or seeing this or thinking that this board and this district are kind of have shut down against all this situation, but we have not. And I just want them to know that we do have protocols in place, and they're a little bit different from last year. And also to remind the public that we receive direction from the state of Florida Department of Education, the commissioner, under the governor. And as sworn officers, we have to follow that. We have to follow those rules. And I know that today there was some changes, correct? I haven't had a chance to see those, but I'll just go ahead and ask, there was not a change coming from the state about masks, correct?
There was not.
Okay, so that's where we are. So nothing has changed as far as a directive to you or to any of us to make that change. But there will be other protocols, a little bit of change that you're sending out, is that correct?
Correct. And I can briefly share it if you'd like.
If you wouldn't mind, sir.
So, first of all, I do want to say throughout the month of July, we had several conversations, obviously with staff, with the state, with the Department of Health, also looking at numbers. And as you know, at the end of July, we put out our protocols to not only employees in Okaloosa County, but to families in Okaloosa County as well. And we had that out, I'd say fairly early in terms of maybe what other districts put out. This past Friday, we received information that there was an emergency order that was going to change the protocols in the state of Florida as it pertains to how school districts implement it. Also on Friday, there was a meeting with the Department of Education to all 67 school districts. At that meeting, it was clear that there were still probably questions that needed to be answered. Today, there was another meeting with the Department of Education where we were informed that the Department of Health at the state level, that those recommendations should be followed across all 67 school districts. But it was also made abundantly clear that there would not be a mask mandate. I think all of us can appreciate the work that's being done in all 67 school districts and at the state level. But it's very clear that there is not going to be a mask mandate, and that if there is a mask mandate that is put in place at a school district level, there are certain measures that the state of Florida will put in place. And one of those measures will be an adjustment to state funding, and that state funding to our budget specifically. So there is a executive order that's out there that's clear on a school district's ability to do mask mandates. I have seen that there's been some school districts maybe move forward with one and maybe have put some steps in place. I'm not sure that they've actually instituted an actual mask mandate at this time. However, we have put several measures in place, and we also did adhere to the Department of Health's suggestions as pertains to many measures. Some of those measures include contact tracing. Some of those measures include quarantining for a vaccinated or someone who had COVID within the last 90 days. Measures that deal with unvaccinated asymptomatic contacts. Measures that deal with those who have symptoms pertaining to that could be COVID-like. All these measures will be put in place. As you know, even something which some say would be as simple as water fountains, or changing the makeup of what those water fountains look like as well. So we will continue to be vigilant as it pertains to this. I go back to the safety of our students is first and foremost, along with our employees. We will also look at this in terms of, like I've talked about, a three-pronged approach as it pertains to mental health and to academic health of students as well. But when there's an executive order in place, I think, as you've said, when you're an elected official and there's an executive order, there's an expectation that you follow that executive order, especially if it deals with, if there's funding tied to it as well. And I do want to clarify one piece. When you run a $400 million operation, there's nothing more important than the health and safety of students. There's nothing more important than the health and safety of employees. But also, when you run a $400 million operation, you have to be able to fund its existence as well.
Okay, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. You. Okay, thank you. Deputy, please.
I'll yield.
Excuse me. Okay.
Well, I was just going to say, I do have a couple other items, but since we're on that topic, I would yield to any of the other board members if they want to respond to that topic.
Well, and I just want to say, I hope it did not come across that you and your staff and our educators have done a phenomenal job. And I'm not saying, I'm not supporting the mask mandate. All I'm trying to say is that I know that you and your staff are watching closely, as the governor and everyone else. And I would not in any way would want to, we have an executive order, we are elected officials, and I support that 100%. I just want all of us, and I know we are, that we are watching this closely, let our parents know that we are watching this closely, and as you already have done in the last couple of days, I keep watching my emails of changes, you keep adjusting and watching what CDC is saying and make those adjustments for the safety of our children. And again, we will all work together on this, and we all have the same goal, and that's to keep our students safe. And you being the leader of this, that has always been your message. So please, I was not in any way trying to stir up trouble, let's say. So, no. Thank you and your staff.
All right.
Okay, so if I may, on another topic, I want to, on a lighter note, congratulate Principal Cruikshank, the faculty and staff of the new Destin High School charter. They'll begin the first day of their existence tomorrow. They got delayed last year. You know, we approved that charter, and I just want to wish them the best. And also want to congratulate another one of our charter schools, Liza Jackson Prep, their principal, Kay McKinley, and all of them, in a brand-new facility that I have not been in, but from what I've seen, looks to be state-of-the-art there in Fort Walton, and I want to wish them well in their new facility. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vancheck. Dr. Kelly.
I just wanted to quickly revisit, I actually had your new advisory for COVID here with me, and had it not even come up, I was going to congratulate you for not only putting this together, but as we've heard, I want all of those speakers who came tonight to understand that we heard you loudly and clearly, as well as those who have emailed. And I might just point out that I've had emails from people on both sides of the mask issue, some requesting that we not entertain the idea of wearing masks. So we have people on both sides of that. But what I liked about this, and thank you for putting this together, is that you've referenced all of those different emergency orders, so we can go back and read those for ourselves and understand the roots of everything you've established here, that it does go back to the Commissioner of Education and to the Governor and those emergency orders. It isn't just something that we blanket decided on our own that should be in place. They actually have roots in what is given to us by higher constitutional officers and us locally elected officials. And I wanted to mention also that I've heard you say previously that before you commit to something like this, and I hold this in high regard, that you collaborate and are in consultation with neighboring districts too. So we're not just out here on our own stabbing in the dark. We're looking at protocol and practice across the Panhandle so that we can be in alignment with what other districts like ours are doing. And I think that's an important note to have as well. So I'll get off that, but thank you for putting this together. I think it's, under the circumstances, the best we can do with the guidelines that have been given to us from higher powers, as you stated. I'm usually the member that counts down to the opening of school and has all these numbers ready. And so finally, we are at the last countdown. We are opening school for students tomorrow, and I was out at STEM today, and they were in preparation for tomorrow and very excited. As you said, everyone is happy to be back in the building, happy to welcome those students and their parents, and eager to get things going. And my last comment, we kind of skipped over in our consent agenda, but we have quite a few of our local businesses and parents who donate lots of money to our students and to our schools for different groups. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of those who don't forget our student groups and who donate generously, whether it's to the band or the cheerleaders or the color guard. Some business locally is always supporting our different student groups, and I just wanted to constantly thank them for that. Those are well remembered. Thank you. That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. And Dr. White.
Thank you, Chairman Bryant. Just a couple of things. I mentioned on Thursday, I appreciated the chairman and the superintendent working to open up this boardroom. It's kind of nice being able to look at each other without having to stare through glass partitions. And I think that's something that's certainly in good stead given all the things that were being considered. And I'll just say that I certainly have a heightened sensitivity to the issues that were raised tonight by our speakers, our visitors, and our guests, because I myself have had some experience with, personal experience with this pandemic. But in any case, I'll keep my remarks brief because after 26 years of opening schools, I well remember the restless nights and the restless night that will occur tonight, and the fact that lots of folks are going to be getting up really early tomorrow morning to get school started. So thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. White. And I will just echo what the rest of the board has already said. We always appreciate public comment. Without public comment, we do appreciate everybody coming on whatever side of issue you're on. We always do appreciate public comment. I will also say that I had the pleasure of visiting 3 schools today, and I will just say that the excitement from the teachers, staff, parents, students. 3 schools that I went into are already exceeding their enrollment from pre-COVID. So it was very much a lot of people in those schools today, but I will just tell you the excitement on the faces of the students and the teachers was just a great feeling to see that. And so look forward to tomorrow getting going. That's the start line, and the race will be on after that. So congratulations, Mr. Chambers, to your staff and all of our principal teams out there who have worked hard, all of our transportation people, maintenance people, everybody who's been working hard to get these schools ready to be open tomorrow. So looking forward to a great first day. All right, so now we will move to section 16, and this is public comment. Members of the public desiring to address the school board, and this is 2-minute version of public comment. So if we do have one 2-minute card here, and this is Ann McCann, and you may come up for 2 minutes, ma'am.
Hello again. I appreciate you guys putting in a second public comment piece there so we can address some of the things that were said. You referenced Governor DeSantis' executive order preventing mask mandates, and it is unconstitutional and is already being challenged in court. Several school districts in Florida are still making the decision to protect students and implement a mask policy this year. Students' mental health will be affected when a large portion of our student and faculty population are out sick with COVID. Make the choice to protect our students, please. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we have no other blue cards, so I'll go around the room. Mr. Strong. Dr. Hale, Ms. Lightbourne, Mr. Horton, Ms. Perry. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.